When you learn how to ignore the words, you're going to we're going to talk about the Buddha bubble here. This is probably a great place. So one of the tools that Noll and I developed early on in the relationship is what we call the Buddha bubble. We don't use it much anymore because we don't need it, but it's a really handy tool. And when you're in the Buddha bubble, you are agreeing with yourself that you're going to be non-reactive, non-critical, and non-judgmental.
And no fixing.
No fixing, no problem solving. All you can do is listen to emotions and reflect them. That's all you can do. And you're in the Buddha bubble. And it doesn't matter how the other person reacts or what they say, because you're impervious to anything they might say, because you're inside the Buddha bubble, where you're in a totally calm, powerful space, and you're in complete control of yourself. And when you picture the Buddha bubble, where I'm going to be non-reactive, non-critical, non-judgmental, I'm not going to fix or problem solve or do anything like that. All I'm going to do is listen. That helps a lot to control your reactivity, because you're giving yourself conscious permission to not react to what the other person is saying. So the Buddha bubble is a really excellent exercise for developing. And sometimes we will say to each other, hey, can you be in the Buddha bubble for a second? If we think it's going to be maybe a difficult, challenging conversation for some reason, I need you to be in the Buddha bubble. Okay, I'm there. And then
and you might have to again do a silent mantra of I'm in the Buddha bubble, I'm in the Buddha bubble, I'm in the Buddha bubble. And if you don't like the word Buddha bubble, call it your gentle bubble or your soft bubble, or your
compassion bubble.
Compassion bubble, whatever works for you.
Exactly. So that's Buddha bubble. So a couple more questions here.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the fear. Okay, so the fear emotions are fear, anxiety, worried, concerned, basically scared and terrified. Experience of how does this work? This is a really cool way to deal with social media and texting. This works. It works on the phone. We all have big social media presences, and you're always going to get this snarky asshole, right? I just affect label. Oh, you don't feel respected. You don't feel heard. You feel really angry and betrayed.
They're not an asshole. They're just hurt.
And they go away.
They do.
They go away instantaneously. And it works with text too, so it's quite effective. Let's see other comments.
There was the question about the Buddha bubble, and there are actually 4 stances to hold when you're in the Buddha bubble. Number 1 is
non-reactive.
Number 2,
non-critical. Number
3,
non-judgmental.
Number 4, no fixing.
No fixing or problem solving. So what does it mean? Non-critical means you're not going to criticize. Non-judgmental means you're not going to judge. Non-reactive means that you're not going to be unconsciously react to what somebody says with an emotional statement of your own, like trying to defend yourself. And no fixing or problem solving says you're not going to engage in self-soothing. People jump to problem solving and fixing things as a way of self-soothing their own anxiety. It's just a self-soothing mechanism, and it's totally inappropriate and doesn't work.
And you'll want to start also being very mindful about developing an inner dialogue. And we've been seeding that a bit in tonight's session,
right?
Where when you're in the Buddha bubble and you're listening to your partner or a child say things that might be hurtful, your inner mantra is, that was really hurtful. Wow, that really hurt me. But they're in worse pain than I am right now. And I need to just be in the Buddha bubble. And it's about them right now. And it's about their emotions right now. I have to just put my emotions on pause right now.
It causes you to be an adult.
Yes, it does. It's very maturing.
Very maturing. So you take the blows. I mean, one of the things I learned early on as a peacemaker is the peacemaker always takes the first blows. You accept the blows. You just accept it. Sure, bat me over the head. I don't care. I'm here for you. I'm creating a safe space for you to be however you need to be.
And that takes courage, but by embracing your courage, you step into a stance inside yourself that is profoundly fulfilling in every single area of your life and every relationship, especially with the beloved.
Right. So a couple of questions. One, what if I'm not good at reading emotions? It just means you haven't practiced. So here's the easy way to practice reading emotions. You're watching a movie, turn the volume off for 1 minute with a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen, and write down all the emotions that you see all the actors emoting. and it's going to be a lot. Or another thing I like to do is I don't listen to the radio, but let's say you're somewhere where you're hearing a radio broadcast of some kind. Listen to all the emotions in a 15-second radio spot advertisement. And I guarantee you'll pick up about 10 emotions. They're totally emotional. And all you got to do is pay attention to what are the emotions they're feeling or being expressed in the advertisement. And that will attune you to how to listen to and pay attention to emotion. How do you ignore the words when they're just screaming spittle in your face and accusing you and blaming you and shaming you, and they're really trying to hurt you? Because that's what happens when people get really angry. They want you to feel, they want you to hurt more than they do. So they're gonna scream at you. Doesn't matter. You sit there, you're in your Buddha, but you put yourself in the Buddha bubble and you say, oh, you're really angry, you're really frustrated, you're really upset. And you hang in there. Don't give up for at least 90 seconds. Continue to reflect their emotions. They will calm down. They can't help themselves. It's how our brains are hardwired. You just have to have the confidence, which you get with practice by going to Starbucks and the store and everything. You just have to have the confidence that this will work. And you only get the confidence by practicing in low-risk social situations like Starbucks.
And the other thing to just keep in mind is when you're in your intimate relationship with the person that you have fallen in love with, and it might have been decades ago, that relationship is started off as the safest relationship that both of you experienced to some degree. Otherwise, you wouldn't still be together. And because of that safety, whether you feel that safety now or not, you might not feel that safety, but because that safety was there initially, even if it was just for 2 nights, there is this inherent knowing inside ourselves of, I can only process my emotions and my deepest wounds that haven't healed in a safe space. So a lot of the times we are our worst selves with our partner because some part of us is hoping that our partner will hold a safe space for us to process all of these unprocessed emotions.
So let me give another metaphor that I like to use. Think about, this has to do with compassion and how you develop compassion. So you think about holding a baby, and you're holding the baby and loving on the baby, little 1-month-old, 2-month-old, and all of a sudden the baby lets out a big poop. And you say, oh, baby, it's stinko. Now, what do you do when the baby poops like that? Do you take the baby and throw it in the sink and beat it and say, bad baby for pooping? Heck no. You say, oh, baby, you pooped. Let me clean you up. And so you take off the diapers and clean the baby up and put on new diapers and put him in a warm new blanket. And now the baby is happy and cooing again. That's compassion. And that's exactly what you're doing in your affect labeling. Somebody's emotionally pooping on you.
Or pooping really on themselves.
Or they're pooping on themselves, but you're the target of it. Or maybe that you got 2 people who are pooping on each other. Think of it as emotional poop. And when you're affect labeling, you're doing the same thing with the baby as when you change the diapers. You're holding compassion and just being present for them.
And you're not taking responsibility for their poop. You're just validating, we just pooped.
That's right.
You're really upset.
And that's the mindset that you will develop. Now, you won't be able to do this right away because it takes practice. But that is, you will get to that place in a matter of weeks if you're diligent about practicing.